Hello there guys, this is Professor Deck here, and today I'll be going through an OTK combo in Chaos Galaxy. So this is basically an Exodia deck, and if you don't know what Exodia is, it is basically 5 cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! That allow you to just win the game. And now in Chaos Galaxy, there is a 5-card combo, although it is technically more than that. But since there are 5 main cards, we're gonna call it an Exodia combo. So the main combo requires these 5 cards. So we have first Beratys of Gaios, Purgator, Copex Helmet, Barish Sands, and Blaze Elixir. So if you got for players that have been playing Chaos Galaxy for quite a long time, you might be able to see this combo, or you have come across this combo before. But for new players, let me just explain. So first we have Beratys of Gaios. Although it has a Chaos Beast ability, we honestly don't care about that. We only care about the stats, and Beratys of Gaios is a 260 power, 490 health, and it has 9 stars, and that's about it. It's a Gaios creature, not a Syndian creature. So yeah. Next we have Purgator. So Purgator's ability allows it to double its original power and health if your planet is Syndian, which we are running right here. So that's about it. We don't care about the stats as much, although it has pretty good stats for a 3-star. And then we have Copex Helmet. So Copex Helmet allows you to copy an ability to the creature it is first attached to, and then after the creature dies, it returns to your hand, and then you can reattach it to another creature, and it gains that ability. So if we successfully pull that off, we basically make Beratys of Gaios a 520, 980 health creature. And then we have these 2 cards. So first we have Barish Sands. So this swaps the power and health of Beratys when it is attached to it, which makes Beratys a 980 power and 260 and 520 health. So it is basically gonna attack for 10 points. And additionally, we can attach Blaze Elixir, which will allow it to be a 520, a 980 520, which can attack twice, allowing you to gain 20 points in 1 turn. So this is of course a really powerful combo that can indeed be pulled off in 1 turn. However, it does require a little bit of setup, and of course there's no way you're just gonna pull off something like that and immediately attack your opponent without any consequences. So that's why this deck will be based around this combo, and of course I'll be explaining a few cards that you will definitely need in this combo in order to pull it off successfully. So first we have the planet Syndian. Pretty obvious, we're running Purgator, and we do need its abilities, so we definitely have to use Syndian. Next, although I usually put Galaxy Crash with the resources, however, Galaxy Crash is actually a key combo card in this deck. So what usually happens is that when you're playing against your opponent, basically what will happen is that they will definitely have creatures, and when you play you want to 1 turn kill them, so you would want to play Purgator on the turn that you're about to kill them. However, you need some way to first kill Purgator and also kill your opponent's cards. So Galaxy Crash becomes really handy by doing both of these in 1 card. This will allow you to return Copex Helmet and also leave your opponent open. So that is really, really good. So we're unfortunately Galaxy Crash is half banned, so we only have 1 copy of this card. So yeah, of course Galaxy Crash can be used to stall out your opponent because they won't have creatures to attack you, and slow them down by a little bit, but that's pretty much it. But you'll most likely keep this for your combo. The next card is Bernard the Space Worm. So we're only running one copy of him, but Bernard allows you to stop your opponent from reacting to this combo. So you play him with Beratys, which allows Beratys to attack without any concern of Point Turret, Planetary Field, or Beast of the Black Hole, which are the main cards that will stop this combo from happening. So Bernard is really good at that, and he's just a good card in general. However, since this card runs a lot of card draw and other stall cards, we are only running one copy. Besides, we're probably gonna only pull this off when we have really little cards in our deck, so we're definitely gonna draw into Bernard. So one copy of him is enough. Next we have some stall cards. So first we have Orbov. So Orbov is just a really good stall card, and we're running 2 copies of him. For 2 stars, he can stop 2 attacks because he has the ability to resurrect himself only once though, so he's kinda okay. He's not too good, but he's not too bad either. So we're running 2 copies of him because he's a pretty good stall. Next we're running 2 copies of Shockafly. I only have 1 copy with me, so I'm proxying it with FaceTime. So Shockafly, basically when it's killed, the turn ends immediately, so you have to be careful when you play this card. Of course, you play this to stall out your opponent because it's basically an extra turn for you, or an extra free turn without taking damage. So it's really, really good. However, be careful when you to not play this card too late, because if you end up drawing your combo, you wouldn't want this card there, because when you Galaxy Crash Shockafly on your turn also ends. So make sure to time the time that you play Shockafly right. The next card we have is 2 copies of Thorngabork. Thorngabork is now a staple in a lot of decks because of his ability to just draw a card for 1 star, and also it's a body blocker. It's not that good in stats, but it's gonna stop 1 attack and it's gonna give you a card, so really, really good, especially for 1 star only. Next is 2 cards of Wakooman. I don't have Wakooman, and although I usually would print proxies, I unfortunately don't have, I can't print out Wakooman right now. So yeah, I'm using Demonite and Bracktooth. But Wakooman is basically a 3-star 120 with Shockafly's ability, plus it can also draw you cards if it is killed from your galaxy, although that won't really happen. But 2 copies of him. He's basically a worse Thorngabork. And that's actually it for all the creatures. We don't really run that many because most of the card draw comes from resource and activator cards, and you'll see why. So first is Cosmic Treasure. Doesn't really need much explanation, draws you 2 cards, and although you might think that if you're trying to keep a lot of cards in your hand, you're gonna definitely be higher than your opponent. But if you think about it, considering we're playing, we're gonna be constantly playing creatures and trying to draw into our cards and using our cards to stall out our opponent, Cosmic Treasure actually comes really handy in practice, and you realize that you'll be behind your opponent most of the time, so it's actually really, really good. So 2 copies of that. Next is 1 copy of Divine Doom. So in case this is mostly used because you're keeping your Shockafly in hand, either because you draw it too late, or if not, you will have Orbov in hand. But Divine Doom is a stall card. It is also a budget Galaxy Crash, so if you find a way to kill Purgator like earlier, and you have Copex Helmet, so you don't, but you use Galaxy Crash in order to not die, you do have Divine Doom as an option. Although I'm only running one copy because we only have 4 sentient creatures, so it's not really that good to run more than one. So only one copy of him. Of it, sorry. Next is one copy of Meteoroid Storm. So Whirlpool Territory actually counters this deck, so doesn't need much explaining. Plus, even if they don't run Whirlpool Territory, it can stall out from cards like Relentless, or it can stop Trollogram sometimes. It's not too important, so only one copy of it. Next is actually a card draw card, so we have 2 copies of Helpobelt. So this combo runs 3 attachment cards, so Helpobelt is going to be really useful. It's 3 cards to search for the combo, really worth it, really good. So 2 copies of it. And next is 1 copy of Time Flash Portal. So Divine Doom is basically, it's not Galaxy Crash, so we need to find one way to destroy Purgator on our own, and Time Flash Portal is the perfect card for that. Yeah, it's basically a budget. Divine Doom and Time Flash Portal is basically budget Galaxy Crash. Next is 2 copies of Spoons. It's a card draw card, it's really good. However, do not play this in the early game, because if you end up drawing like 3 of your combo cards, like you end up drawing something like this, you're gonna be forced to discard one of your good combo cards or key cards in this deck. So do not use Phantasmal Spoons too early, if not you will mess up your combo. I prefer to use it when I'm looking for 2 more cards in my combo. So yeah, don't use it too early, don't use it too late either, because if not, they'll be useless. Next, we are moving on to attachments now. We're actually going to be running 1 copy of Phantom Matter. Phantom Matter is just a stall card, plus it actually gets around one of the other ways that this deck can be stopped, which is Orbov. So Orbov is actually going to be an issue for this deck, because there isn't really a way to counter it except for Phantom Matter. So Phantom Matter allows you to take that Orbov and reduces your opponent's Orbov count by 1. And also, in case they have 2 Orbovs, you can buy an additional battle zone. So one for Beratys and the other for Bernard. So Bernard can attack that second Orbov, allowing you to still win the game, although your opponent has Orbov to counter. So Phantom Matter is just pretty good. Usually I keep it unless I realize that my opponent's not running Orbov, in which I will most likely take either their Thorngabork, since a lot of people run it nowadays, or Wakooman if they're playing Sindel, or basically a good card that can stall out for like 1 or 2 turns. But yeah, next is 2 copies of Ice Elixir. First of all, it combos very well with Cosmic Treasure, being able to give your opponent 1 card and making you reduce your card count by 1. Plus, it is basically a budget / infestation, although you should never use it if you're playing against Gaios, because Gaios has the ability to kill their own creatures, which makes Ice Elixir sort of useless. So don't use it against Gaios, but since Gaios, although Gaios is in meta right now, you may run into like Sindel Control, in which you can sort of use this card, I guess. But it's a good stall card, so running 2 copies of that. And now we move on to our activators. So Beast of Black Hole, don't think it needs much explanation. It's stall, it's good, it's staple. And next is 2 copies of the Lost Probe. I actually don't have 2 copies for some reason. I really don't know why, although it's a common card. But Lost Probe allows you to draw into your important cards, Beratys, Purgator, Bernard. It is a really good card searcher, although it's gonna cost you your first turn, your start of turn draw. It's gonna not really matter anyway because you're drawing into your combo, so really good. Next is 2 copies of Planetary Field. Stalls your opponent out. Good card, I guess. Yeah, it's not as good as Beast of the Black Hole, but it's gonna help a lot. And lastly, we have 2 copies of Relohex Mine. So I feel that Relohex Mine is basically reducing your card count by 2. So I guess it's pretty good. And but yeah, you could think of it as card draw, but to me, I think that Relohex Mine basically reduces your deck count by 2. And yeah, that's about it. That's all for this deck. I hope you guys enjoyed. And there are replacement cards that you could put in or take out. One of them being maybe replacing, if Gaios is in meta right now, I would replace 1 copy of Ice Elixir for Bernard or something, or maybe replace a few creatures with maybe a Syndian creature. I have thought about using Warriors in order to remove my opponent's activators, although it is not really that good because you just never know when your opponent has Beast of Black Hole or Point Turret in your hand, so it's not really that consistent. But yeah, there are variations of this deck, but the main thing you're trying to do is to draw into your combo as fast as possible, stall out your opponent until you draw your combo, and pull it off in 1 turn. But yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions for this deck, do be sure to comment down below. And yeah, also in order to get this deck, well, in real life, it will require you to buy a lot of sets. So I do not recommend building this deck IRL unless you want to spend a lot of money. And another side note, this deck does not really win you games. It's just meant to be played for fun. So don't expect to win a tournament with this wonky ass deck. It's not really gonna win you games. It's not gonna be fun when you lose, because you might miss out on, like, you might be missing like Barish Sands or something, and you find it at the bottom of your deck. It's really gonna suck. So disclaimer there, don't just use this deck and hope to win games. I do not recommend this deck for new players. Please do play some games with a normal deck, like, I don't know, Gaios or something. But yeah, this is just a really interesting but also a little bit weird deck. And yeah, that's about it. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, link will be in the description below. And yeah, do check out my other deck profiles as well. Currently I only have this one and the Polysium one, which quite a few people enjoyed for the Polysium one, so I have to thank you guys for that. There will definitely be more deck profile videos in the future if I can get the cards for it. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.